Alright, it's time for another week of Tecmo Tuesday, and it was kind of up in the air as far as, what I was going to do for this week. Some wanted me to just skip it and go right to week 10. Others wanted to see a hard look at some of the stats and rankings, and the highlight reel was quite popular in the choice list. So, I don't know, I kind of, between the intrigue in that from several of you guys' perspective and my own perspective, I'm just kind of like, oh, let's see. I'm kind of curious to see how that looks. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll take a quick recap of the first half of the season, and then we'll take a look at some stats and rankings, standings, all that good shit. Simulate Week 9 and see where everything stands at that point. So the season kicks off with New England Patriots coming to town. The second play from scrimmage, Dwayne Bickett sacks Steve Grogan in the end zone for a safety, and that was the turning point of the game. On the ensuing drive, the Colts dodge a bullet when Ivy Joe Hunter fumbles, but it goes out of bounds. On 3rd and 11 from the Pats 34, Jeff George connects to Jesse Hester, who takes it to the house and puts the Colts up 9-0, only 2 minutes into the game. Next Colts possession, Jeff George completes across the field to Bill Brooks for a big gain, and it leads to an 18-yard touchdown to Brooks, putting the Colts up 16-0, first quarter only. Patriots finally get a first down, and then some, when Grogan completes a long pass to Irving Fryer, and John Stevens gets the Pats on the board with a 2-yard touchdown run, so it's 16-7 Colts at this point. Indy takes over, and Jeff George launches a deep pass to Pat, son of a beach, who makes the diving catch. Where's the defense here? They don't do any better with catching up to him, and Beach takes it all the way for a touchdown, putting Indy up 23-7 at the half. First drive of the second half, Ivy Joe Hunter, look at the moves here, jukes out basically the entire Patriots defense and marches in for a touchdown, putting the Colts up 30-7. First play of the next possession, John Stevens runs off tackle for a huge 46-yard run all the way to the Colts' 36-yard line, but Steve Grogan takes a sack on second down and the drive stalls, forcing New England to settle for a field goal, making the score 30-10. First play on the next possession, Albert Bentley takes the sweep in, gets stripped of the ball, and after a mad scramble, the Colts once again maintain possession, and the Patriots miss a golden opportunity to get back into the game. Jeff George makes them pay with another long pass to a wide-open Jesse Hester. The Pats secondary really struggled today. Albert Bentley finished off the drive with a 10-yard touchdown run. In desperation mode, Grogan threads the needle and Keith Taylor picks it off. 2 plays later, Ivy Joe Hunter runs up the middle, and with some excellent blocking, and the secondary turned in the wrong direction, plus a couple moves to make a man miss, and it's a 26-yard touchdown to make it 44-10, and that was how the game would end. Colts outgained the Pats 419-186. New England actually ran for more than they passed. Week 2 against the Dolphins. Dan Marino comes out hot and heavy with a deep pass in stride to Mark Clayton, who takes it all the way down to the 17. 2 plays later, Tony Page runs and takes it to the house, and Miami strikes first, 7-0. Colts answer right back. George completes a deep pass along the sideline to Bill Brooks, who gets taken down at the 6. But Albert Bentley punches it in on the next play, and we're tied at 7. First play of the next possession, Lewis Oliver makes a leaping interception, and the next play Marino completes to Tony Page in coverage and gets taken down at the 1. Next play, they give it to Page to let him finish what he started, but he fumbles. Chris Good picks it up for the Colts, and he could go all the way to the 9-yard line, but 2 plays later, Albert Bentley takes it to the pylon, and after it looked like it was going to be 14-7 Miami, fortunes turn, and it's the opposite. On the ensuing kickoff, Mark Logan gets a nice return to give Miami good field position, and on the very next play, Tony Page totally redeemed himself by going right up the gut and making the entire Colts defense look foolish for a 54-yard touchdown run to tie the game at 14. With 27 seconds left in the half, George throws deep to Bill Brooks, and he takes it all the way for the score, and the Colts lead 21-14 at halftime. Indy gets the ball to start the second half, and on 3rd and 2, Ivy Joe Hunter gashes his way through the line to pick up a tough first down. And that sets up George on the next play to Hester for a 37-yard touchdown, putting the Colts up by 14. Dolphins go 3 and out, and George throws deep for son of a beach to the Dolphins 26. First play of the fourth quarter, George finds Bill Brooks all by his lonesome in the corner of the end zone, putting the Colts up 35-14. Next possession, Marino throws a dart to tight end Farrell Edmonds in extremely tight coverage, still makes the catch at midfield. Later in the drive, Tony Page takes it up the sideline and once again is able to take it all the way to the end zone to make it 35-21. But Miami can't recover the onside kick. The Colts put their backups into the game at this point, and Anthony Johnson shrugs off a defender and takes it all the way for some garbage time points, putting the Colts up 42-21, and that was all she wrote. Colts defense were able to contain Marino just enough. Tony Page had a good game, ran for a $113 and all 3 touchdowns for the Dolphins, but that fumble at the one really cost them. Ended up being a 14-point swing, and who knows what would have happened from there. It was definitely the play of the game. So after a 2-0 start, Bo Jackson and the Raiders are on the docket for Week 3. First play of the game, and Indy comes inches away from taking Schrader down in the end zone for the safety, but he gets it away in time and the pass falls incomplete. But will that missed opportunity come back to haunt the Colts? On 3rd and 10, Schrader hits Willie Gault and he uses his Olympian speed to take the ball all the way to the 28-yard line before finally being dragged down. Another third down, 3rd and 15 this time. Schrader finds Gault again, splitting the defenders and taking it to the house to go up 7-0. Colts go 3 and out, and Ron Stark, the punter for the Colts, makes his season debut. First play of the next drive, Bo shrugs off the defender, makes another man miss, and he's gone. 73 yards for the touchdown, and just like that, the Raiders are up 14-0. Another 3 and out for the Colts. In the first play of the next drive, Schrader goes deep for swerving Mervin Fernandez, who takes it to the 17, sets up a field goal, 17-0 Los Angeles. 2.5 minutes left in the half. George, under pressure, heaves up a desperation prayer, and it's picked off by Eddie Anderson, who takes it into Colts territory. 2 plays later, Marcus Allen gets in on the fun, going right up the middle and taking it all the way for a 50-yard touchdown. Colts finally get a first down on a pass to Beach down the middle, but poor clock management causes the drive to stall out at the 22 as the half expires. Indy does get the ball to start the second half, and they matriculate the ball down the field with runs and short passes before finally getting on the board with a 2-yard run up the middle for Ivy Joe Hunter. Colts almost recover the onside kick, but this isn't horseshoes and hand grenades, and Marcus Allen makes him pay on the very next play as he shrugs off Chris Good and takes it all the way to the end zone again, 31-7 now. Colts put their backups in to give them some playing time in a lost cause game, and Anthony Johnson gets some garbage points with a short run to make it 31-14. But Bo Jackson strikes again, this time on special teams as he recovers the onside kick attempt and takes it all the way for another touchdown, 38-14. Trudeau gets sacked twice in a row by Bob Golick, forcing a 3rd and 41. Trudeau gets pressured yet again and hurls it up for grabs, and Mike Harden makes the pick. He shrugs off every defender that attempts to bring him down, but he wants some points too, and drags them into the end zone, 44-14. PAT was blocked, and that would be the final score. Marcus Allen actually outran Bo Jackson with 99 yards rushing, but the two-headed monster was too much for the Colts, who couldn't get any semblance of a ground game going at all. Raiders forced turnovers, got a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and made long yardage plays on offense to make this one a laugher. Needing to recover after a brutal loss against tough running backs, next up is Barry Sanders and the Lions. First play from scrimmage, Barry takes the delayed handoff and makes his presence known, taking the ball all the way down to the 3. 2 plays later, Rodney Peete runs the bootleg in for the touchdown, and Detroit strikes first, 7-0. Next drive, Jeff George throws it up for Bill Brooks for a huge gain, and 4 plays later, Albert Bentley runs it in on 3rd down to tie the game at 7. On the next drive, Barry Sanders fumbles, and John Hand gets his hands on the ball for Indy. 2 plays later, Bentley runs it again, and just like that, the Colts are now up 14-7. Mel Gray takes the kickoff and gives the Lions great field position with a return all the way to the Colts 35, but on the very first play of the drive, Chris Good picks the ball off. The Colts are forced to punt, and with 35 seconds left in the half from their own 35, Pete tosses it short to Barry, and he could go all the way, but he doesn't, and the half expires, and the Lions come up empty. Colts get the ball to start the second half, and George finds Bill Brooks along the sideline again for a big gain. That sets up a short pass to Hester, all alone in the middle of the field, and the touchdown puts the Colts up 21-7. On 3rd and long, Detroit looking to make something happen, and something does. Mike Pryor gets the interception, and the Lions turn it over again. On the ensuing drive, Ivy Joe Hunter fumbles, but that horseshoe on their helmet is good luck for them today, and the ball goes out of bounds. They do only manage a field goal on the drive, so the Lions defense does their job given the short field, but it's 24-7 in the fourth quarter. Rodney Peete leads the Lions down the field, and once again that bootleg works, and he runs it all the way from the 27-yard line to make it 24-14, but they can't recover the onside kick, and the short field leads to more ground and pound from Bentley and Hunter, with Bentley putting the icing on the cake with a touchdown to close out the scoring at 31-14. Barry Sanders was held to a modest 82 yards, but much of it was on one play, although he did have a long reception too. But the Colts kept him contained just enough. But the big story here was the turnovers. The Lions might as well have been a bakery. They had 2 interceptions and a fumble. The Colts only able to get 10 points off those turnovers, but between those 10 points and stopping a promising situation for the Lions at the 35-yard line, it could have been the difference in the ball game. Seahawks are next on the list. First drive of the game, Jeff George finds Jesse Hester, who takes it all the way down to the 1, and Ivy Joe Hunter reaps the rewards with a short touchdown run, 7-0 Colts. On second down for the Seahawks at their own 19, with some great blocking, John L. Williams gashes the Colts D with a long run all the way to the Indy 28. But then the defense shows up and stuffs Derek Fenner on 2nd and 3, and then stuffs Williams on 3rd and 2, setting up a field goal attempt by Norm Johnson. But he doinks it off the upright, and it's still 7-0. Seahawks force a punt, and Williams takes a swing pass and turns it into a huge gain, setting Seattle up in scoring position. They do get held to another field goal attempt, but Johnson misses it wide left. But the Seahawks do force another punt, and the Colts' run defense continues to give up big plays as Derek Fenner rams it down their throat, taking it to the house and tying the game at 7 at the end of the first half. A botched kickoff attempt by Dean Biasucci gives the Seahawks good field position. That leads to a pass from Dave Craig to Tommy Kane, who shrugs off a defender and takes it to the 4. That sets up a touchdown run for Fenner, and the Seahawks are up 14-7. It could have been 20-7 if not for the missed field goals. After a short kickoff, the Colts get some good field position of their own. George connects to Bill Brooks in tight coverage, and Ivy Joe Hunter finishes it off with a 2-yard plunge, and the game is tied at 14. And then the wheels fall off. Craig badly overthrows his target, and Eugene Daniel is there for the interception, and that leads to Albert Bentley taking it to the house, and just like that, the Colts are up 21-14. Next drive for the Seahawks, on 3rd and 10, John Hand and basically the rest of the Colts defense gets the sack, setting up a 4th and 20. Craig launches it deep down the sideline, but it's batted away, and the Seahawks turn it over on downs. With under 3 minutes left, it's all ground and pound, and Hunter and Bentley lead the charge. And Hunter dukes out a few defenders on his way to the touchdown that ices the game at 28-14, and that's how it would end. Both teams ran for more than they passed, as neither quarterback reached triple digits in passing yards. Derek Fenner was the star of the show. He ran for 110 yards, and the Seahawks ran for 187 as a team. That's actually more than both quarterbacks combined for 177. But that interception late in the third really killed the Seahawks. Between that and the 2 missed field goals, they ended up shooting themselves in the foot one too many times, and the Colts improved to 4-1. May have been a struggle to move the ball against the Seahawks, but it's not going to get any easier against the Steelers in Week 6. First play from scrimmage, doesn't that sound familiar? Merrill Hodge running free down the sideline for a huge gain to the Colts 25. On 3rd and 9, Bubby Brister tosses it to Hodge in the flat, and with nobody in front of him, gets the first down. That sets up Warren Williams with a touchdown run, and the Steelers strike first, 7-0. Jeff George, with pressure in his face, throws it across the field, and Jesse Hester catches it in stride. And he shakes off 2 defenders, including one on the 1-yard line, to take it in for the score, and we're tied at 7. First play of the next drive, Brister throws into double coverage, and Keith Taylor is there for the pick. But then 2 plays later, Albert Bentley fumbles at the 10-yard line, and Dwayne Woodruff recovers for Pittsburgh. Colts hold them to a punt, and George gets pressure out the yin-yang. And somehow, in blanket coverage, Bill Brooks makes the catch. George wants to go back to him, and he finds him in the end zone, putting the Colts up 14-7 at halftime. Colts get the ball back to start the second half with a chance to get the double dip. Short kick gives Indy good field position, and they start driving. But the Colts running backs have fumbleitis today. This time it's Ivy Joe, and Woodruff once again recovers for the Steelers. Brister leads Pittsburgh into Indianapolis territory, and on 3rd and 10, Brister, with the play fake, completes it to Eric Green right at the sticks. But after the measurement, he's just short of the marker. Steelers try for the field goal, but Gary Anderson misses it wide left, and now they wish they'd gone for it. Colts make them pay. George, under pressure, chucks it down the field, and Brooks makes the diving catch. It sets up a field goal that goes off the upright and in, and the Colts make it a 2-score game with 3 minutes left, 17-7. Brister throws into double coverage again, but this time Warren Williams makes the catch. Not only does he make the catch, he shrugs off the defenders and takes the ball all the way to the 2. On 2nd down, they pitch it to Williams and let him finish what he started for the touchdown, 17-14 Colts. Steelers go for the onside kick, and the quarterback Jeff George makes the recovery. And the Colts run out the clock from there. 17-14 is the final, and the Colts move up to 5-1. And boy, does that missed field goal by Pittsburgh hurt, with 3 points being the difference of the game. So another tough physical game, and the Colts come out on top again. But next opponent is the biggest threat to the division title, the Buffalo Bills. The Colts at 5-1 and the Bills at 4-2. This is the most important game of the year so far. Bills get the ball first. On 3rd and 5, Jamie Mueller runs up the middle and just crosses the first down marker. Then on 3rd and 5 again, Jim Kelly goes deep for Andre Reed along the left sideline, all by his lonesome for the touchdown. Bills go up 7-0. Colts go 3 and out, and Jim Kelly throws to Thurman Thomas, who makes the catch in tight coverage. Next play, Kelly scrambles and gets a huge gain, but as he gets hit, loses the ball, and Jeff Herrard recovers for the Colts, closing out the first quarter. George throws it to Brooks, who is blanketed, but he makes the leaping catch for the first down. Then, not to be outdone, Ivy Joe Hunter shows off his athleticism with the leaping catch for another big gain. But the Bills hold them to a field goal, and it's 7-3. With a minute left in the half, Kelly throws to Reed in triple coverage, but he somehow makes the catch. Then Thurman Thomas runs off tackle, and he blows by everybody, and he could go all the way for the touchdown, and it's 14-3 at halftime Bills. Colts get the ball to start the second half, and George launches one to Albert Bentley, and he gets in on the leaping catches. Nobody near him in the end zone, and that cuts the Bills' lead down to 4. Kelly says, "You want to throw deep to your running backs? I can do that too." And he just gets it high enough to sail over the defenders into the hands of Thomas. On 3rd and 1, Kelly in the shotgun scrambles, and Fred Young misses the diving tackle, and Kelly takes it in for the touchdown. 21-10 Bills late in the 3rd. First play of the 4th quarter, down 11 and 3rd and 5. It's a clutch situation. George throws deep, and tight end Pat Son of a Beach gets in on the leaping catches. Very athletic play for a tight end, and it brings it to the Bills' 15. 2 plays later, George finds Brooks for the touchdown, and it's 21-17 Bills with 4 minutes left in the game. On second down, Mueller runs up the middle for a huge gain to midfield. On 3rd and 6, the Colts D busts through the line and forces Kelly to throw an incompletion. So with under 2 minutes left and down 4, George, under pressure, completes to Brooks to the 30-yard line, then to Beach down the middle for a first down. Next play, George goes deep to Beach, and he makes the catch and shrugs off 2 defenders to the 13 with 39 seconds left in the game. Next play, George to Beach for the touchdown, and the Colts go up 24-21. The Bills run out of time on the kickoff return, and the Colts get the huge comeback win, being down 11 in the fourth quarter against the divisional opponent and arguably the best team in the conference. It was a huge win. Pat Beach, who's been quiet for the last month or so, comes through in the clutch to lift the Colts to 6-1 and gives them a 2-game lead in the standings. Closing out the first half of the season, another divisional game. This week, the New York Jets. Second play from scrimmage, Blair Thomas bowls over the Colts D and takes it all the way to the house for an 84-yard touchdown to put the Jets up 7-0. First play, next drive, Ivy Joe Hunter runs off tackle, makes a couple guys miss, and he's off to the races. Looks like it's going to be a big day for the running backs. A 63-yard touchdown run for him, but the extra point is blocked, so the Jets maintain the lead 7-6. On the next drive, Ken O'Brien slings it out to Thomas, who promptly marches into Indy territory, but he coughs up the ball, and Eugene Daniels scoops it up for the Colts. On 3rd and 23, George drops back and heaves it up for Pat Son of a Beach, who once again makes a leaping catch to the 24. Albert Bentley walks the tightrope with a nice run down to the 5, and on 3rd and 3, Bentley runs right and takes it in to make it 13-7 Colts, their first lead of the game. Next possession for the Jets, on 3rd and 6, Mark Boyer makes the catch in double coverage for a first down, and the Jets are in business. Blair Thomas gets another first down with a catch in tight coverage, and then he finishes the job, ramming it down the Colts' throats for a touchdown, but the Colts block the PAT, so the score remains tied at 13, and the blocked extra point is canceled out. With time running out in the half and Colts driving, George finds Beach, who takes it to the 8, but there's not enough time to run another play, so Dean Biasucci kicks it through to take the 16-13 lead. Stanley Morgan, who had a couple of good returns in this game, takes the second half kickoff into Jets territory. Jeff George, running for his life back there, manages to find Beach open in the middle again, and it leads to Ivy Joe Hunter plowing through for the touchdown to increase the Colts' lead to 10. Fourth quarter now, the Jets matriculate the ball down the field, and O'Brien finds Rob Moore, who makes the leaping catch and takes it in to make it 23-20 Colts. With 3 minutes left in the game, the Colts sit Jeff George, who was banged up, and summon Jack Trudeau. On the next play, Ivy Joe Hunter gets injured. Then on 3rd and 12, Trudeau throws one up for grabs, and James Hasty makes the pick. O'Brien throws just out of the reach of the defenders to Al Toon for a first down. 2 plays later, O'Brien to Rob Moore in tight coverage makes the catch for the touchdown. 27-23 Jets, with only a minute 10 left in the game. The Colts try to launch a couple Hail Marys, but Hasty makes his second pick of the game to clinch the upset. So 1 week after an 11-point fourth quarter comeback win over the Bills, the Colts cough up their own double-digit lead with a 10-point fourth quarter choke job to the Jets. Blair Thomas had some big runs, and there were many receptions in tight coverage for the Jets, but the big questionable decision to pull Jeff George late in the game for health concerns really came back to haunt the Colts, and they fall to 6-2. So that brings us back to where we are, and I'm going to simulate Week 9 here before we take a look at the standing stats, etc., etc. Yeah. Phoenix beats Minnesota. Chicago loses to New Orleans. Green Bay loses to Tampa. Kansas City beats the Raiders. San Diego loses to Seattle in overtime. Dallas beats Detroit by a field goal. Cleveland gets hammered by Pittsburgh. Washington gets beat by the Giants. New England can't handle Denver. Philly gets clobbered by San Francisco. Cincinnati can't handle Houston. The Rams just get beat by Atlanta. And that's the end of the simulation of Week 9. So, I mean, that doesn't really do much or say much for our division because I think the Patriots were the only team that played, and they lost again, so they're 0-8. The standings remain the same for the rest of the division, and every team is in the mix. Obviously we're in first place at 6-2. The Bills, with that last loss to the Jets, not only puts the Jets in a spot to potentially get into the mix at 4-4 and tied with Miami, but the Bills are now one game closer. And with the Miami game next week, a loss there would be bad for business. It could end up being turning into a 3-horse race, and who knows, maybe a 4-horse race if the Jets were to win as well. Everybody would have a winning record. Bengals at 6-2. I have a 2-game lead over the Steelers and Oilers, who are both 4-4. The Oilers are surprising middle of the pack team right now, but we'll see what happens there. The Browns forget it. Chiefs are starting to not run away with the division, but definitely they've put some distance between themselves and the Broncos and Raiders, who are 5-3 and 5-4 respectively. Over in the NFC side of things, Jesus Christ, the Cowboys, I can't believe. All right, so first off, Cowboys and Giants 6-2. This is the surprising thing here is that the Cardinals are 5-4. And the Eagles are at the bottom of the division. I mean, usually the Cardinals have that 5th spot without a problem. This division is absolutely stacked. Not that the Cowboys were a rebuilding team around this time, so they were kind of middle of the pack. But sometimes they sneak up on you, and this is a year where they're doing it. The Cardinals are they've definitely overachieved thus far at 5-4. It's really anybody's division. This one, this is a very mediocre division. The Packers and Bucks are at the top at 4-4, and then I can't believe the Bears are 1-7. It's been a crazy, crazy season. This is not so crazy though. The 49ers are at the top at 8-0. The Falcons finally got that first win. They just beat the Rams by a point. I think it was 28-27 if I saw that correctly. Just glad that if you do want to challenge, the Colts are the worst team in the game, but I mean playing against some of these teams in the NFC, I mean shit, this division is a tough one. This one not so much. And of course you got the 49ers. So I mean it depends on the schedule too. Like we are lucky enough to not have to play some of those. Like we're playing the NFC Central. So, and that division's not looking so hot this year, but that's why they play the games, as they always say. So that takes care of the standings. Let's take a look at the rankings. We haven't done this one yet. See where we are in the league. 21st, tied for 21st in total yardage with the Vikings. So the offense is not really all that. Definitely not the strength. 20th in with the pass, and did I miss something there? Where the hell are we here? There we are, 17th. So middle of the pack, pretty much, with rushing the ball as well. Defense, 4th in the league. So the defense, despite the big plays, they've held their own, and pass defense has been the only team that's given up triple digits in total passing yards. I don't know how much the bye really affects it, but they're about half the league, I think, at this point has taken their bye. So, it's I think I say that's a pretty good indicator, but holy shit, second to last in rushing yards. After going back over that highlight reel, it's not that much of a surprise. Where you had Bo Jackson, Marcus Allen, Blair Thomas, both of the Seahawks running backs. There was definitely quite a few big plays given up by our running backs. I mean, by our run defense. So that's something to really gear up for and take a look at. So the league leaders, we did this last week. So not much has changed here. It's only been 1 week. Um, so I mean, we'll just kind of browse through it real quickly here. And Georgia's third in the league in passer rating. For scoring purposes, Albert Bentley, seventh in the league, tied with a couple others. Interceptions. It gets to be kind of cluttered there with those that have a few. Punt returns. Yeah, Verdon has a 10.5 yard average, fifth in the league. Kickoff returns. Stanley Morgan, he only returned for one game, maybe two, with 14. Yeah, he has 6 returns, so 14.8 yard average. Yeah, he had a good game there at the end. Um, so in sacks, I gotta double check. I think I might have missed one. I didn't. Yeah, nobody's even on the list. Punting, I think Stark's up there. Yeah, 74 yard average. That's inhuman. Rushing leaders. I mean, look at this shit. The top three, we had to face those guys, and thankfully, look at it in the top five. Four of the top five runners in the league, we had to battle them, and we won 3 out of 4 of those games. So it's as bad as the run defense is, we still managed to win the games. Now not win all the games, obviously, with 6-2, but there's Hunter and Bentley down there at 28th and 30th respectively. Neither one of them are on pace to have a 1,000 yard season at all, but between the two of them, it's like they're running back by a committee type of situation. They both share it. And then on the receivers, yeah, Brooks is the leading receiver in receptions. Brooks is also leading receiver in yards for a team. Touchdowns. Brooks has 5. Brooks has 5. So you know what? I didn't really look through these other categories at all when I did this before. So completion percentage. George is in the middle of the pack with a 58.2. Scoring, there's no other categories there. Oh yeah, well there is. I mean touchdowns. Bentley is in the mix there with a lot of people tied for 6th with 9 total. The extra points and that's whatever. Interceptions, I don't think. I mean, yes, there's yards, right? Yeah, but you know what? None of our guys are even on there. Punt returns, nobody. We definitely didn't get any touchdowns. Verdon's on 20th in that regard. Total yards. Yeah, Verdon and Morgan are well. So after Verdon, the list drops off pretty significantly. Morgan's only got 89 yards, but he's a backup, filling in for Verdon, who is hurt. Yeah, there's no other categories for sacks, and then we're back to where we were before. Did I? So average running back, at the average rushing yardage. Hunter is 7.8. He's at 24th. And unless I'm completely bypassing, Bentley wasn't on there. So, and touchdowns, there we go. Bentley and Hunter both have 8 apiece. So it's they're pretty they're fairly even. They're basically the whole sharing the rock thing. They do it and they do it well. So nobody it's a team sport, and the running backs are a team of their own. So that's pretty much the I guess the first half of the season in a nutshell. We'll move on to week 10 next week and face the Miami Dolphins for the second time. We beat them in week 2, so they're going to be out for revenge. Really, we played each of the division teams once, and we've got the rematches coming up with all of them. We had to buy at a pretty much the ideal spot is halfway into the season. You get to break it off in a nice balance. You don't get the break too early. You don't get it too late. So I mean, not that I don't know how much that really affects the the players' physical ability, situation the way it would in real life, but it was nice to have the bye in this spot. And it was nice to look back, and we'll see you next week.